right, learners. Okay, are you ready for chapters 11, 12, and 13? Let's go. Chapter 11, Tom. Billy pushed the frying pan towards Tom. Okay, Fink, it's not supposed to hurt you. You eat a piece. Oh no, said Alan. He and Joe were lying on their stomachs in the hayloft, watching. If he eats a piece, you lose, Billy. The bet was you were going to eat 15 worms, not you and him together. Billy didn't look up, his eyes fixed grimly on Tom. All right, then. Then I'll go dig another worm, just for him. He's so big, telling me, hurry up, hurry up. I can't wait around all day. Don't be a sissy. All right. Now, I didn't say sissy, said Tom uncomfortably. I just said if the first 4 worms didn't kill you, this one wouldn't. I can't help it if my mother told me to be home by 2 today. She's going shopping, so I have to mind my little brother. Yeah, said Billy. Okay, so we'll just have time for you to eat a worm before you go. Come on, where's the shovel? Here, said Alan from the loft. We brung an extra today. A worm dangled squirming from his fingers. He dropped it to Billy. It's not cooked, said Tom. I'll do it, said Joe, scrambling down the ladder. He took the worm from Billy and ran out, then ran back and grabbed the frying pan. Tom sat down on an overturned pail to wait. He didn't want to eat any worm. It wasn't his bet. He glanced at the door, creaking in the wind. Maybe he should make a break for it. Of course, he could see Billy's point. Billy didn't believe Joe's story, but still, he'd find it reassuring if Tom ate some worm too. He'll eat it, Billy was saying to Alan. If he don't, he's chicken, said Alan, after all his talk. Why don't I eat it, thought Tom. I mean, it's a yucky thing to do, but it wouldn't kill me. He scratched his neck, shifting his seat on the pail. I don't know, thought Tom. I just won't, I guess. He gagged, imagining what it would be like to bite down on a soft, fat, boiled worm. He glanced at the door again. Billy kicked the door shut. Leave it open, said Tom. Why? Because I said so. Yeah, well, you don't own this barn. Neither do you. Your father does. Billy rubbed his nose, watching Tom, figuring. He's trying to pick a fight so he won't have to eat the worm. Okay. Billy opened the door and set a brick against it. Tom shifted his seat on the pail again. He couldn't stop thinking about what it would be like to bite down on a soft, fat, boiled worm. He scratched his ear. Who did Billy think he was trying? He was trying to order people around, telling them what they had to eat and all. Billy wasn't anybody's father. Tom began to feel put upon and indignant and stubborn. A screen door slammed. Joe coming back with the worm. Tom licked his lips. He heard Joe running across the barnyard towards them. Billy! Alan shouted. Billy spun around just in time to catch a glimpse of Tom pelting out the door banging shut behind him. He flung to the window. Joel sprawled in the middle of the barnyard on his back. Tom was clambering over the wall into the meadow. The frying pan lay upside down beside the horse trough. Poor Tom. I wouldn't eat it either. Okay, chapter 12. The fifth worm. Okay, we should get our worm ready. Let's see, I've got a new one. No, that's the old one. Let's see. What do we want to have on it today? Probably, maybe a little, they keep talking about horseradish. And horseradish is a really strong, spicy taste, so let's have that. Okay, there's my horseradish. Chapter 12, The Fifth Worm. Look, said Billy to himself, staring down at the fried worm on the plate. Be sensible. How can it hurt me? I've eaten 4 already. Tom was just scared. He's like that. He eggs other people on, but he never wants to do anything himself. Give up? Asked Alan. Come on, said Joe. We haven't got all day. 5 more minutes, said Alan, then I win. There's no time limit, said Billy. For the first time he wondered what he'd do if he lost. Where could he ever get $50? But how could he eat 10 more? 10 more big, fat, ugly, soft, brown things. He couldn't ask his father for $50. He heard Alan and Joe whispering together. He's gonna quit. Yeah, I knew he'd never make it when I bet with him. He talks big. Him and Tom are just the same, but they never do anything. Billy gritted his teeth, glopped on ketchup, mustard, salt, grated cheese, whatever was on the crate, anything, everything. Let's put everything on it. Okay, ketchup, got it. Mustard, got it. Grated cheese. Put everything on there. Billy gritted his teeth, glopped on ketchup, mustard, salt, grated cheese, whatever was on the crate, anything, everything, and then grabbed up the worm and tore it apart with his hands, stuffing it into his mouth, chewing and swallowing, gulping, then panting. He reached out and wiped his gooey hands on Alan's trousers and grinned messily up at him and said, "There, 5. Chapter 13. Nothing to worry about. By Worm. That night, Alan asked his father to show him $50. After that, he couldn't sleep, tossing and turning in his rumpled bed. Suppose he lost? He could just see himself asking his father for $50, begging for it, on his knees, tears streaming down his cheeks. Where are my tears? Tears streaming down his cheeks. And then at Thanksgiving dinner, cringing while all his aunts and uncles and cousins roared over his father's story of Alan's bet. He slid out of bed and snuck down the carpeted hall to his parents' bedroom. "You gotta wake him, Mrs. O'Hara. You got to," he whispered into the phone. "It's an emergency. I gotta speak to him." Pause. I got a hoarse throat, Mrs. O'Hara. That's why I'm whispering." "Please." Pause. "Gee, thanks, Mrs. O'Hara. No, I won't ever call this late again. It's... He waited, gnawing at his thumbnail. A board creaked on the stairs. He stiffened. Silence. "What do you want?" said Joe suddenly over the telephone. "Geez, I was sleeping. You woke me up." "Joe, suppose I lost? My father will never let me take the money out of my savings account. I know he won't." "You think I'll lose, Joe? Huh? Joe, tell me. Give it to me straight, Joe. I gotta know. I can't sleep." Joe sighed. "Look, I told you this afternoon. You got nothing to worry about. He's cracking. Sure, he ate that one today. Sure, I mean, he might." That's the end of the chapter. Okay, Bright Learners, next time, I don't even know which numbers are left. Whatever the next 3 are, I will see you there. Bye, Bright Learners.